Racing electronics display here at the PRI show. Steve Post from Motor Racing Network. Tim Brown has joined us here. 100-time race winner at Bowman Gray Stadium. Yes, folks, 100 times. Tim, you hit that milestone in July of this year. I know you were probably focused on the next race, but that is an amazing number. What runs through your mind when you think about it now?
So when it first happened, I was like you said, I was focused on the next race and the next race and the next race. Wasn't really, because I'm nowhere near the end of my career, right? So I never looked when I got to 99 as like 100 being that big a deal, because I'm not going to stop at 100, right? We're already at 101. So when it happened, I honestly didn't think it was that big a deal until the next morning when Cup car owners are calling me and Cup crew chiefs are calling me and racers from New York and California that I've known over the years are calling. I was like, man, that's the coolest thing ever to have 100 wins at a racetrack. And then it finally sank in, like, wow, this is a pretty big deal here, right? So then I got to thinking, and then, Zach and Nicole Burek, one of my sponsors, put to my race team a little 100-win party together, and they done a little plaque for all of my crew guys and team members that had every win on it. And it had pictures at the top of it from some of those wins. And my wife's in there, my brother's in there, all of my guys are in there, my kids are in that. And that's when I really, really grasped the fact that 100 wins, it took me 32 years to do it, right? So, and Todd Hunt and Bruce Hayes that sponsor us, they're like, okay, so now we're focusing on 200. And I was like, man, I'll be 90 if it takes 30 more years to do it. So that, and that's how I'm built, right? I'm already working on the next one. And it honestly took media people and outsiders calling me and texting me and doing interviews for me to figure out, like in my thick skull, that this is a huge, huge accomplishment. And it's not just me. Like, I've been so blessed with great partners over the year, a family that supported me, and man, for my son to see, like, Dad, 100 wins, that's awesome, right? It's like, so it's really cool on that aspect. So
really cool, that's for sure. Kevin Hughes with Racing Electronics started racing a modified at Bowman Gray this year, and after his second or third race, I stepped into his office. How's it going? And of course, he's piddling around at the back of the field at that time, and he said, you have no idea the skill it takes to run Bowman Gray Stadium. He said, I'm going down the front stretch trying to stay out of the way, and they come racing around into it. The skill set to run at the stadium, it is maybe a unique skill set, but what does it take to be able to have success at that difficult racetrack?
So it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of money, because you got to have really good cars and really good motors, and you got to have really good people behind you. But it takes patience. It does take talent to drive the cars, but there are talented race car drivers that I watch race at the stadium that don't really run very good because they're not patient enough. So you can overdrive the car there, and you think you're flying, and you're a second off or a half a second off, right? So you've got to be patient. You've got to let the car work and not overdrive the car. And then when you put 24 other cars out there, there's that, right? So it's really tough. And you talk to the average race fan, they're like, man, you drew 22nd tonight, why didn't you win? It's like, it's 100 laps, and you got 21 cars to pass. So, and passing at the stadium is really difficult, like really, really difficult. You could have a car that's a half a second faster than the field, and unless the stars align and everything falls your way, you're not going to win that night, right? Now, we try, and we do everything we can, but that's just the way the stadium is, and that's why they call it the Madhouse. And it mixes the racing up for the fans, so you don't have one or two or three or four guys dominating and winning all the races in a season. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I like for my team and myself and my partners and sponsors to get the publicity and the accolades that we deserve by working hard and going over there and sitting on the pole and winning races. I don't like to sit on the pole and draw third or fifth or 23rd, right? I want to start on the pole and race the way we deserve to race. But Greg Garrison hit on it a long time ago, because I used to get so mad when I'd qualify on the pole and draw in the back or draw anywhere but the pole. And Greg's like, man, one of these days you'll realize that this is entertainment. This is not like, I can't have one or two guys dominating. Nobody would come to watch that. So yeah, your fans and his fans or whoever would come, but people need to see different winners, and that's what the stadium does now. And you have teams that struggle financially that can win now, like with the format that we race under. And if you sit back and think about it, those guys work just as hard as we do to come and race, and it does give them an opportunity to shine and have a good day and win a race. So all in all, the place is amazing. Like, it's amazing for our sponsors. The fans are absolutely amazing. It's 15 minutes from my shop. It's 25 minutes from my house. And, on a good night, if we win and we're selling a lot of T-shirts and souvenirs, I can still be home by midnight. You know what I mean? So just so blessed. And then, to be able to have 140 some poles there and 12 championships and have 101 wins there, it's just icing on a cake. That's just awesome.
Really cool. Over the course of this spring, this summer, you being part of the Bowman Gray family, the rumblings were the clash. And then you as a modified racer are like, well, I wonder what that means for us. And then there's the Madhouse Classic on Saturday night. Just having Cup coming to your home track, having the opportunity to race there at your home track with your modified, just what does that mean? What was that like? When did you realize that maybe it was actually going to happen?
So, being that I work for Rick Ware and worked in Cup racing, basically my whole life, I knew it before it ever got announced that it was a possibility, because they were talking to us guys that work at these teams for the Cup Series about logistics and transaxle and drop gears and things like that. So we kind of had an inkling. And to be honest with you, when they first said that, hey, we're going to Los Angeles and build a Coliseum out there, it's like, that's crazy. You've got the staple of quarter-mile racetracks right here at Winston-Salem that's, 40 minutes from, 80% of the Cup shops. It's like, this is crazy to have all of our haulers travel all over the United States to go run a quarter-mile racetrack that you got to build and then tear down, in a few days later. And I thought that from day one when we started running the Clash, that we should be doing it at the stadium. In fact, they tested at Bowman Gray for the Clash to get an idea of what gears and tires and things like that. And I thought, man, I don't understand why we're traveling all the way to California to do what we could do right here. And it would be so historic for NASCAR and everybody involved at the stadium. And then the modified guys and sportsmen and street stock and mini stock guys, they can go tell their sponsors, hey, the Cup cars race where we race, right? So now we all have that opportunity. Plus, we get to race the modifieds on Saturday in front of the Cup crowd. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be so good for our sponsors, because we're going to have a different fan base. It's not just Bowman Gray fans that'll be there; it'll be the Cup fans, and I think they're going to be. I think they'll be delighted to see what kind of show we put on, and I honestly think that some of those cats will come on Saturday nights and watch after this. Go to Cup races, but if the Cup race is on Sunday, they may come to the stadium on Saturday night now to watch what we do. So I see it being a positive for everybody.
Win for everybody, that's for sure. Tim, we appreciate your time always coming here to the RE booth, catching up with you here at PRI. We wish you well as you go forward and getting number 102, maybe on Saturday night, February 1st or whenever that is, in the Madhouse Classic.
Steve, that's definitely the plan, and as always, man, thank you and your staff for all that y'all do for racing, and we appreciate it. Glad to call you a friend, man.
Here we go. Tim Brown, 101 wins at Bowman Gray and not looking back, joining us here at the Racing Electronics display at PRI.